picked up our food, which, funny thing number one, I walked in there, my wife made the order, I walked in there with her phone, and the order is under her name, and her phone has like a bright pink phone case on it.
Right.
And I tell the lady, hey, I have a phone order, online order, whatever, for my wife's name. And she stares at me for a moment. And then it suddenly hits me that I think she's trying to figure out if I have taken a woman's name,
Right.
or if I'm picking up for my wife.
The gears are turning in her head where it's like, how do I ask this?
So she just looks at me and she's like, okay, I just need a signature for this name. I'm like, okay. My wife and I do this all the time, forging each other's signatures. So I just forge her signature, and she stares at it for a moment. And she's like, have a good day. I'm like, you too. And I just walk out with the food.
Oh, man.
And then I tell my wife that, and I'm like, oh, man. Anyway, so we drive back, and we get to one of the exits to get back into my town. And all of a sudden, there's like metal clanging and noises of things being dragged. And my wife looks at me, and I'm like, it's probably just your muffler.
Yeah.
And she's like, how can you be so calm about this? I'm like, car's not controlling any differently, so we didn't lose a shock or a strut or anything.
So like, something's going to fall off.
Yeah.
That's just what happens.
So, which she's mad about because her car's not that old. And I'm like, babe, I've drove clunkers for like years, so I'm used to this. So I pull off side of the road, look under, and her whole muffler system is in like two different pieces, and there's two different parts that are dragging on the road. They like rusted all the way through. So I climb under her car on the side of the highway, kick off the pipe that's dragging. I'm like, all right, throw it in the back of her car. Like,
I was this thing. See you at home.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's probably like a good 3-4 foot section of this pipe that I just throw in her trunk. And
I found the problem.
I get back in the car. I'm like, all right, I got rid of one of the noises. The other one's still gonna drag because it's hot as hell. I don't have gloves and I don't have anything to tie it up with.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be grinding metal for the rest of the way home.
Right.
So I gotta bring her car up into the shop, which is luckily for us, we have a small one just up the street from us, so I just gotta drive it up there. But I parked it down our driveway so that we remember to not just back up like we normally do, because the last thing I need is to drive her car and have the muffler catch on something, and then next thing you know, I'm shoving the rest of that thing up towards the motor.
Right.
But yeah, that was my fun little experience. And she was like, I'm glad you were here for that, because I wouldn't have known what to do. I'm like, all you gotta do is see that, oh, hey, this is dangling, kick it off, because it's already broke, so fuck it. And
yeah, if it's not like suddenly pulling to the right, you're probably not that much trouble.
And for a brief moment, I was like, I know I can fix this. But I have like none of the tools, because I haven't, besides at a buddy's house, I've never personally had to work with mufflers, so I don't have any of the tools or anything for like bending, because all the pipes come straight and you bend it to form, underneath the vehicle.
Okay. I didn't know that.
I got none of that shit.
Yeah, no.
So I'm like, all right, let's see how much it is for this. And the first thing I look up, it's like $200. Like, nope, fuck this. We're taking it to the shop.
Not worth that much.
Yeah. For this one-time job, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, you guys ready to start this thing?
Yep.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me, as always, is Moonpier.
Hello.
And the Nymph. Sorry. I get distracted trying to see if there were any dropped frames. I thought I saw...
Almost got a spit take from Moon.
Right.
A tiny droplet did come out and hit me in the eyeball, if that helps.
The most well-prepared and professional video game podcast on the internet. Patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. Behind the scenes, early access, exclusive, uncensored audio. We review some brand new TV shows this week. So go listen to that if you want to hear our hottest new takes on other media. The $5 a month tier is the recommended one. That gets you everything. a couple months early access to Critical Misses. Moon and I are knee deep in recording season 5 right now, which got a little bit of headway there still, which is nice. You get 2-week early access to We Rogue Like It, where we're playing Enter the Gungeon right now. You got all the good stuff. Patreon.com/E1M1. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Nothing.
Okay.
Well, very little, I should say. I did
A smidge.
play Castle of No Escape 2, which was the sequel that we talked about last week. Very much like Castle of No Escape, it's way better than it has any right to be.
It looks pretty good.
And it was like $2 at some point, I'm sure, when we picked it up. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's super indie, it's super pixelated. Clearly, I'm putting the Xbox Series X through its paces with these games that probably could be played on an Amstrad. So,
really making that
background
SSD.
rendering.
Yeah.
Man. Best thing is they're only like 20 meg, so they literally go on the internal SSD and then immedially come off it as soon as I'm done playing with them.
Yeah. It's just they just put it in RAM. Like it doesn't even
Yeah, it doesn't exist anymore. It's not installed anywhere. It's just
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I did spend a lot of this week because my brain is a bit scattershot at the moment. There's a lot going on in my personal life. That means like I'm not sitting down to focus on anything. So I'm picking something up and I'm playing it for a little bit and I'm moving on. I played a ton of Apex because I literally turned it on. I play two rounds to do some dailies and then I leave. That's all I do because my brain is not at the point right now where I can focus on anything. There's a lot both personally and in the real world. Just open the door and look around and you'll know what I'm talking about. That has stopped me from being able to delve deep into things. Like I was thinking to myself this week, I know, I'll go finish one of the Yakuza games I've started. I'll go start Watch Dogs 2, you know, and then I don't. I sit down, I watch YouTube videos for 10 minutes about sports, bloopers, and great plays and stuff. It's great to see how ice hockey is now literally just that cowboy dude from the Mighty Ducks 2 who like picks up the puck and then skates around with it. That's all of ice hockey now, apparently.
Right.
But like, I'll watch YouTube videos for like 20 minutes. Like, yeah, no, I don't feel like doing anything.
Yeah.
So, Apex, turn everything off. So I came up here and I'd be footing around in the office because, as fellow computer owners and general nerds, we're all aware of I now have 9 computers worth of information stored on the one computer I currently own.
Yes.
I have an 8 terabyte hard drive that's half full with quite literally, I'm pretty sure every single computer I've owned since 2006 on it.
Yeah.
It's an old computer and then inside there, other computer, and then inside there is a folder that just says second computer.
Yeah, it's like old computer folder, then it's old computer, this desktop computer, old laptop files, old tablet files.
Old laptop with a date. Old laptop 2017. It's like, oh no.
Yeah, so because I literally couldn't think of anything else to do or feel like doing anything else, I'm just footing around. Apparently, I've got a 1 terabyte hard drive on this machine, which I use exclusively for video game capture.
Okay.
That I don't share with anybody.
Okay.
So I'm going through that, seeing what's good, seeing what's not, and getting rid of the junk. There's a couple of good Rocket League ones in there. I'm seeing an Elite Dangerous video or two.
Nice.
So right now I'm just exploring that because my brain can't handle anything else at the moment. Yeah. I did play some Moonlighter though. Yeah, thanks again, Boston.
I'm not going to defend Moonlighter.
Don't get me wrong, it's a solid game. Again, go listen to We Rogue Like It. You've already got it for free.
It's fine. We Rogue Like It is good. Moonlighter is fine.
Yes, and I now have like 5 achievements left in that game because it's a very good. I'm going to stick my headphone in and stab all these monsters with a spear while I grind some achievements.
Yep.
So far, like the only ones I have left are essentially beat the game in New Game Plus, beat the game in like less than 10 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect every boss. You know.
Oh yeah, no big deal.
Kill every boss with the broom. You know.
Yeah. Super. Not at all frustrating.
No, not in the slightest. So
Yeah.
I've just been, honestly, I'm at the grind point in it where I'm just trying to get some of the enemy kills and dungeon floor things. So it's literally just been I'm switching off my brain. I'm going to hit things with my spear and they're going to die and I'm going to make some money at my shop thing.
Yep.
And literally, other than that, Apex, the only other thing I played with quotation marks this week was Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Because they released a rather big patch that fixed a whole bunch of bugs.
Yeah.
Yep.
Didn't fix my bug.
Great.
One world event left to do, and then I can uninstall that game.
Man.
One world event that I cannot complete. That still wasn't updated with the new patch. To the point where I made a friendly wager with a friend of the show, Rob, about who could get to 1,000 gamer score in Assassin's Creed Valhalla first. He got it this week. I can't get it.
You should have restarted your game.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna put another 120 hours into it.
No big
You
deal.
can skip most of that, throw that thing on stupid easy, and just go all the way to that world event.
But the problem is, the achievement I'm missing is the do or everything on every place.
Yeah, do all of them, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the 100% everything achievement is the thing that I'm missing.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Which sucks.
Moon, I do have to give you credit. Thank you for letting me know last week about the option to turn off interior assassinations, which is the word they use, the term they use for the Mortal Kombat style thing. I don't remember seeing that when it was at launch. Maybe they just like patched it in like one of the earlier patches.
They asked that question right at the beginning because I was like, I don't know what that means, so I'm just going to say keep it on.
Okay. So I turned that off and then I didn't play it.
It doesn't sound like a thing that it's relating to.
Am I going in their body? Like, do I shrink down? Like, what is this game?
It should say like turn off interior assassinations, open brackets, the sniper games, close brackets, and then it knows exactly what it's talking about.
Right.
Something.
Right.
But yeah, like I said, I'm not. I made this joke yesterday to Boston before we recorded the Game Club episode, which hit in your timeline shortly. Game Club Metro 2033. I said, "Hey Boston, just so you know, for the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be the bare minimum.
Yep.
Because that's all I have the free time for.
Yeah.
And literally that's all I played.
Well, and plus one of the things that I think people don't allow themselves to do is like to kind of ride that wave of interest in games. Like you don't have to play 20 new games every single week, even though there's like 40 of them coming out on Game Pass. Like you can just go and have a week. Spoiler alert for my list. I played one game this week.
Was it Destiny 2?
No, I played very little Destiny. The season's like wrapping up, so I don't have much to do. Other than help people that want to play Destiny 2. Wink. But like you don't have to play. There are going to be those weeks or those months where you're like, God, I'm just like churning through games. There's going to be stuff where like life gets busy or you just kind of don't want to play anything. And I feel like so many people are like, I got to push through this disinterest. And it's like, that's the opposite of what you need to do. Like just go watch some movies or go read some books or something. Like,
yeah.
And
that's
especially
cool
for us, like, I think we've mentioned it before on the show, but it's one of those things where it's like, I put the pressure on myself.
Yeah,
not once
100%.
have you ever said to us, you need to play at least 4 or 5 games.
Yeah, I don't have a checklist where it's like, right, before the show, how much progress did you make in Assassin's Creed in minutes? Yeah, seconds would be great too. You know, like I'm not like, did you fill out your form? Like there's none of that.
Yeah.
Like,
and we've all had it. Like we've all had weeks where like we talk about one show one game. And it's one of those things where it's like, I put the pressure on myself to be like, yeah, I could probably, there's been weeks where I've squeezed in like 15 games and it's like, yeah, this is great. And then there's other weeks where I'm just like this week, like Assassin's Creed Valhalla was maybe 4 minutes of my time this week. Moonlighter was probably about 2 hours. Apex Legends was probably about 3 hours. And Castle of No Escape was like 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, normally I can knock that out in a night.
Right.
But it's like, no, no, it's just this is
You don't
not
have
a
the
good
room
week.
for it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my brain is full. Please come back another time.
Right. Click.
My biggest
Yes.
problem a lot of times too is I can play hours of one game, but
What would take
JRPGs
difference?
you can play like 20 hours of a JRPG and get something out of it. You come on a podcast, no one wants to listen to you talk about what you did for 20 hours in a
I did
JRPG.
one dungeon.
Mhm.
It was really good. Anyway.
It's the
Yeah.
it's the Demon Souls problem as well. This is the exact
Right.
same for Demon Souls. It's like I put 60 hours into this. I beat one boss.
Right.
Yep.
I know where
Yeah.
the skeletons spawn, though. Yeah.
Oh,
All right,
yes,
Nimp,
I
over
do.
to you.
All right, let me tighten my straps as I carry this show to the struggle bus. I played a lot of Genshin Impact this week. The Hunting for Riches event finished this week, and they started another event called the Hypostatic Symphony, which is
Oh.
basically 3 of the open world bosses that you could fight. You can fight in this mode now. And the difference is that there is a bunch of handicaps that you can select before you fight one of them.
Oh, cool.
And and then it'll add up, it'll bracket up to, okay, if you beat the boss with all of these handicaps that you've selected, you will earn this credit for, this event, which can be later used to cash out in the event shop.
Oh, okay.
So and it's all kinds of stuff like, beat the boss within 300 seconds, or the boss now has 50% health and you do like 20% less damage, or it's like all these weird and different things that you can do. Your characters run slower, your gauges fill slower, that kind of thing.
Because they had
So-
some of that stuff in that one dungeon where you're going through all the floors, like the one all the way out with the giant purple portal. I don't remember what that's called.
Yeah.
They were doing some of that stuff where it's like, oh, you have 50% less mana, but it recharges a little bit faster.
Yep. And they've got at the very bottom, they have, I think it's 3 of them that are actually negative points where they make it easier for you. So if you don't want to challenge, because you have to pick at least one thing out of this entire list before you can fight the boss. So if you're not looking for a challenge, you don't mind taking a hit on the currency, you can just pick one of the things that makes it easier for you and go in there. Honestly, this first one that you do, it's not that hard. Like I think I had 7 multipliers on.
Wow.
And went through it no problem. So, and it's just the bare bones. It's a fight. You're in an arena. You start it. The boss shows up. It's a little different than the open world version of it. There's some little extra things that make it a little bit more dangerous, but it's not that hard to figure out. I mean, they're not trying to test your puzzle solving skills here or anything. It's just a boss fight. So it's really fun. It's interesting that they're doing it. I think there's 7 arenas altogether, and they unlock on different days. Not like the rotating one with the dungeons, but like right now we only have the first dungeon that's open. And I think it's tomorrow, Monday, the second dungeon opens. So then you can do dungeon 1 and dungeon 2, and then, another day or so out, the third one, and then so on and so forth. And it just seems really cool. I like that they're trying different things with this. I also like the fact that so far they have stopped making resin something that you have to use for these events.
Good. That's smart.
Yeah, which for those that haven't played, resin is basically your mobile energy bar that fills up after certain real-time periods. So you don't have to use any of that for this. So
yeah, because that was frustrating where it's like, well, you're making an event that I'm supposed to grind over a short period, but I can't because you're using this rechargeable currency. So I can't succeed.
Like everything to buff my characters with.
Right.
And so
yeah, that's smart. That's good.
But yeah, moving on from that, Ring Fit.
Oh yeah.
Still keeping up with that this week. The character's name, demonstrator, whatever, his name is Tip, not Tippy.
Tip. Tip is also really good.
Yep. When I think it was Wednesday, because I'm doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday for this. Wednesday, I decided to up the difficulty on it because at the end, it'll do your heart rate and it'll give you, hey, you did light, moderate, or heavy exercise or workout or whatever. I'm like, all right, I keep hitting light exercise. Let's bump it up some more. That way I can start hitting more of that moderate. I don't want to hit heavy yet because I'm not there yet. But
Right.
so I let it bump me up a couple levels, and that was difficult. I'm in I was in world 3.3. I just finished that, so I'm in world 4.1 now.
Okay.
In world 3, I had 2 mini games and 2 actual areas, including a boss, to get through to beat that world. So I did both the mini games in the new difficulty. I did, was it like stage 3-2 or whatever, and then I did the 3-3 boss fight. And that boss fight, I don't know if they extend the amount of health that they have, or if they make your attacks do slightly less so that you're doing more exercises, or what.
Oh, right.
But I was dying by the end of this boss fight. Like, I was sore, I was tired, I was sweating hard. When you complete an area in each world, you have to do what they call a victory pose.
Okay.
All right. This is basically a squat. Yeah.
Fusion, ha.
Yeah.
It just makes me think of the Connected Ventures with the stupid gerbils as the trophy. Like,
Oh,
so for your quote unquote victory pose, you have to do a squat, you have to hold it, and then you raise up and you throw the ring up in the air. Well, not throw it up in the air, but you have your hands, the ring up above your head, so you do this victory squat or whatever.
Oh, God.
I was so sore and tired after beating that boss that it was such a half-ass attempt of a victory pose.
Right. Because it's like, do this victory pose, and you're like, go to hell. What's wrong with you? I just worked out.
But then after I did that, that's when it gives you the options. Like, okay, if you want to check your heart rate, put your thumb over the IR
thing
scanner on the controller. Yeah. And apparently, my heart rate was so much higher than it normally was that I broke the freaking scanner because it kept, like, the first time it couldn't read it. So it's like,
you should be dead.
Yeah, please lie down right now.
So the first time it couldn't read it. The second time it did read it. It's like, oh, your heart rate's only like, I think it said like 90 or something like that. So you did light exercise. And I'm like, light exercise my butt. So I pull up my Fitbit on my watch and I'm looking at the heart rate on there, and it's got me at like 223.
Oh.
I'm like, yeah, I know I didn't do light exercise for this crap.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so far it's still a pretty good workout for me, at least. Yeah. So I'm gonna keep going with it until I beat it. Apparently, you can get to level 999, and I'm like level 18, I think.
Oh shit. You gotta get those Disgaea strats where it's like, all right, I reset this character to be a student of this teacher. It's like, all right, now I'll get the real XP.
Yeah. And I have started getting into unlocking abilities for your ring, because your ring thing that you use is your weapon in the game for the most part.
Oh, okay.
And you unlock like abilities for them as you go. So like the first one was just oh crap, I don't remember what the first one was. Anyway, it was the color. That's what it was. You unlock, so the enemies on the screen are all different colors.
Mm-hmm.
So when you unlock the color ability, your exercises are also colored differently. So like your reds are usually the things that are working on your arms. Yellow is for like your abs, and what was it? Green, I think, was like your legs or something like that.
Okay.
Or maybe it was purple. Either way. So if you do an exercise of the same color as the enemy, it does extra damage to that enemy.
Ah, okay.
So
interesting.
I had that one unlocked, and then I also unlocked the ability to start making protein shakes in this game.
Okay.
Which are potions in this game.
Okay.
So not only can I make potions, I can also start getting ingredients. So I had a ton of spinach, and I made about 10 spinach protein shakes, which increases your
asparagus.
Yeah, not yet.
It's just waiting for like the asparagus and chicken dinner. We're just like,
here, eat these 13 raw eggs.
That's right.
So you can use the shakes, as many of them as you want, in your battle. And just the spinach ones right now, that just refills my hearts, which I desperately needed in this boss fight because this thing was doing a lot of damage towards me. So more than normal. So
Mhm.
that helped out a lot that I made a ton of those. But that's a new thing that I can start doing now. So
Okay.
this game is going hardcore into the exercise stuff, which is great.
Yeah, it's fun.
Next game that I played very, very little of is Immortal Fenyx Rising.
Yep.
Breath
Because,
of the Greeks.
yes,
Yep.
I started it, got to the next area, got to the statues so that I can do my little hawk look around thing.
Mm-hmm.
But before I could finish climbing the statue, my game crashed and kicked me out into the dashboard.
Great.
Yeah. I'm like,
Ubisoft.
okay.
Right.
Reload into the game. Everything's working fine. I get back up on the statue, do the look around. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I do the scoping thing with Legend of Zelda. It's like, okay, I'm looking for all these points and stuff and
Yep.
dot and mark everything. And then I went and got my bird
Mhm.
because, like you said, they do that brief little thing of, oh, a meteor fell over here.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
they
that's
don't
weird.
and they don't really say anything about it.
Yeah.
And I had just completely forgotten about it. And then I'm like, oh yeah, that's still a thing. Let's go do that. Went and did that, got my bird. Came back, grabbed a bunch of random stuff. Like, all right, cool. We'll call it good there. I've done
Mhm.
a lot. My health is up higher. I have more stamina.
Nice.
It's good to go.
Yeah.
My son is super excited because he's already beaten the game.
Oh, jeez.
He unlocked...
Oh boy.
What was it? He unlocked a Pegasus with rainbow wings called Sprig or Spring or something like that,
I'm digging it.
which has like the max stamina and all this stuff. But he is super excited because the DLC is coming out soon, and
Oh.
that's apparently going to be the Chinese pantheon / mythology.
Oh, cool. That'll be
Interesting.
fun.
Yeah. So he's super excited for that. My daughter is super excited that he has a Pegasus with rainbow wings.
I bet. Yeah.
That is the only thing she's gotten out of that so far.
Right. Right.
The last game that I played this week, Cyberpunk 2077.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had any issues with it so far at all with crashing or anything. And really, I've just been putzing around killing street gangs.
Great. Keeping the city safe.
Yeah, exactly. I want to do more of the story, but I just wasn't really feeling like doing it.
Yeah.
Just like, screw it. Let's just pull up the map and see what's there. And I have like a laundry list of quest logs that, hey, you should go do this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I could. And then when you pull up the map, there's actual in-world stuff that you can just click on and just go to. And a lot of them that I had were the police ones, where it's like, hey, there's a reported crime here, authorized use of force. It's like, okay, so I can just go there and shoot the place up and nobody cares and I get a reward for it.
Okay.
I did that for 3 hours.
Okay.
Jumping from one crime scene to another, just killing fools left and right.
Right.
And that really satisfied me.
Nice.
But yeah, still really enjoying the game. Haven't had a whole lot of issues. That's really it. That's all I did this week.
Nice. The only game I played this week is Monster Sanctuary. Again, on Game Pass, if anyone's interested in it. I didn't expect this game to be nearly as big as it is. That's a positive, by the way.
What, you mean like out of the other 40 large open world games that we're trying to finish?
Well, it's really interesting because it is a pretty great Metroidvania, and someone in the game will be like, hey, you're not really... There'll be like an NPC there being like, you're not really ready for this area. Like, maybe you can kind of go explore their area to the west. So the game's really good at kind of giving you guideposts. But at one point, the game, you get like the core kind of 5 or 6 areas explored. And then the game... Oh no, am I a robot?
You were for a little bit.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
we got timestamps.
Great. Well, there's nothing to do to fix it, so great. If people could stop buying brand new video cards, I could get one so the show could sound better. That would be really great. Or if anyone wants to sell me a 3060 or a 3070 for market price, tvgpfans@gmail.com. Thank you. So, since it is a great Metroidvania, there is one point in the story where it's like, boy, what a weird door there is hidden underneath this area with 4 symbols around it. I wonder where we have to go. And it's like, okay, cool. Probably like 4 additional areas for me to go. And I'm well into that part that I love in Metroidvanias, where like this game is really smart about, unlike Pokemon, you kind of have to like capture the monsters. In this game, the monsters will drop eggs, and all you have to do is interact with that egg in the inventory, and then you just get that monster. The better you do in a fight, like the faster you beat it, or the more damage you do, or the less healing you need to do, the better rating you'll get, and the higher chance there is that you'll get an egg as a guaranteed reward. So a lot of times when you're going into new areas, you're getting all these new monsters, and not only do the monsters have, all the moves and spells and, skill trees and everything that they usually do, but they do something in the side-scrolling, jumping around platforming stuff. So this one will help you fly, this one will help you swim, this one burns down vines that are in your way, and it's always great to get a new type of enemy, and it'll be like, oh, this one can activate floor switches, and like your knowledge of the map is just like, aha, that's what this one all the way over there wanted me to do. I bet once I go back there, I'll use this monster on that, and that like opens a whole brand new area. Or like, now this one can push rocks around. It's like, oh, okay, cool. I bet that's why I couldn't reach this platform. So it's like, it's scratching that RPG itch of, all right, now I leveled up my monsters, so each one of them has a new skill that they can learn out of like one of the 4 skill trees that every monster has, which is crazy. And now I have monsters that are able to take advantage of the weaknesses of the enemies in this area, so now I can beat the battles even faster, which will probably get me upgrade materials to upgrade their equipment. And now I'm fighting additional bosses, and I'm fighting secret bosses, and it's like the right game at the right time for me. That I was telling Musum about it yesterday, where like it is a 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania monster capturing turn-based RPG. Like it's this like word salad of like, yeah, sure, that probably doesn't work, and it 100% works. And it's so much bigger and so much more detailed in a positive way than I was expecting it to be, that I feel like I'm sort of approaching the end game at this point, but there's still like 2 or 3 excuse me. There's still like 2 or 3 monster skills I don't have yet. Like I can see these grappling hooks in some place in the environment. I can see these invisible platforms that I don't know how to display yet. So there's still stuff for me to discover, and I'm sure there's like secret passageways I haven't found yet. And it's the reason I only played this week is because when I sat down to play stuff, I was like, oh, I already have my Xbox controller in my hand. Okay, I apparently I'm looking forward to
know what you're doing.
Monster Sanctuary.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So it's nice to have a game like that. Like that's how I was feeling about Fenyx Rising up until I kind of got the wind taken out of my sails, where it's like, all right, yeah, like I'm looking forward to playing this. Like I was playing it before I came up here, and I have it paused on my Xbox, so I'll hopefully go down to play it again as soon as we're done with this. The autosave is incredibly generous too. It saves when you enter every single room. So like if you die, or if quick resume doesn't work, or I haven't had the game crash, but if that would happen, you pick continue. Every time you die in a battle, it just kind of like puts you at the entrance of that room, and it's just like, yeah, try again, no big deal, whatever.
Cool.
So incredibly generous. It's really good. I really recommend people trying it and giving it a shot, because it is much more fun than I was expecting, and much, much deeper than I was expecting. And I like that I have 6 monsters that all have different roles. And even if you have like 2 healer monsters, you can kind of spec their skill trees differently from each other. Where it's like, oh, this one I want is pure healing, but this one I want for shielding. So this one's making sure that all my monsters have like an extra shield bar above their health bar and stuff like that. It's really great.
One more time on the name.
Monster Sanctuary.
Thank you.
And I think one of the things that's really impressive about it is it has a story, and the story is really solid, and it has some really good world building, but it's like one of the least wordy games that I've played in a really long time. Like, there's no like 10-minute exposition about why you capture monsters. It's like, no, I was nice to them, they're my friends, they fight with me. All right, moving on. Like
You don't imprison them in a tiny ball that is somehow smaller on the inside or bigger on
Right.
the inside.
No, you just beat them into submission.
Yeah, and then hatch their eggs. And like the longest like text dump I've run into so far was maybe like 2 minutes long, and it was all about like how the bad guys managed to get into this world. And all of that stuff is super interesting, but I like that the game is very concise about what it's trying to do. And more games should do this. There's a talk option, and you can talk to like your lead monster, and it'll just tell you like, hey, here's the thing you should do next. If you're working on multiple things, he'll have multiple options for like, oh, remember you going to the magma caverns? Oh, remember that there's this door you're collecting stuff for. Oh, remember this? And he'll give you like 2 or 3 sentences of like, go to this place, we're doing this thing. It's like, oh, thank God.
I know they introduced that in the new remake of Link's Awakening, I think it was. The only downside about that was that you had to go back to your home to talk to the guy standing outside your house to get the hint as to where you should go next. Like, that should just be everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really nice to just say like, hey man, what am I doing? And like my fire lion is like, oh yeah, we're going over to the ice caves. You should, it's go fight the boss there. It's like, oh right, okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, Monster Sanctuary, real good. I highly recommend it so far. I would be very surprised if it drops the ball at the end. I really don't think it's going to, and
Pokeball?
Yes, right. It dropped the trademarked red and white ball. But
find out that you were the monster all along.
That's oh no. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to kind of wrapping it up, and then a lot of the achievements seem really fair, where it's like catch one of every monster, or like win 200 battles, or fully unveil the map, and a lot of pretty fair stuff like that. I also did unlock a system where you can essentially get like light or dark versions of each monster, but the cool part is it doesn't seem like that makes too big of a difference. Seems like they might have an alternate skill tree, but I haven't run into anything so far that's like, oh, I gotta get the light version of all these ones because they have this like super overpowered thing. It's like, no, it's a little bit different. So it's kind of nice that I'm not like shiny hunting or anything. So yeah, Monster Sanctuary, 2 thumbs up. Really good so far. Really enjoying it. Played a lot of it this week. And that's all I've been playing. Let's take a break.
Yep.
Plus, I'd like to like finish a game, like at some point.
Assassin's Creed was my crowning achievement.
Yeah, I mean, I got
honestly like. I'm so glad I got that out the way, because like if I still had that hanging over me without everything that's going on at the moment, like I probably wouldn't finish it for another 2 years. I'm looking at you, Fallout 4.
Well, I mean, if you'd finished the story and you just had like all the side stuff to do, that wouldn't be as bad.
Mm-hmm.
No, but it was just the way that it kept going on, and I was looking at it because like at the end of this month, Atelier comes out.
Yep.
and then East comes out like a week later.
Right.
And I was like, I need to beat something because.
Yeah, before the JRPG title comes in.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right. Are you guys ready to finish this thing up?
Yep.
Yes.
Let me open show notes here. Okay. Starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of January 18th, 2021. Hitman 3 coming out for PC, Switch, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series X, Stadia. There's been a little
Too soon for another Hitman game. Go away.
There's been a little hullabaloo this week about past games getting imported into Hitman 3 on the Epic Games Store. Seems like some of that is getting resolved very quickly. So, it also really impressively, Hitman 1 and 2 levels are available for import into Hitman 3, and then they're just like, yeah, we also like shrank the size by 50% at the same time. Just like, oh wow, really? Okay, that's great. That's crazy. Usually it's just like, instead of it being like 75 gigs, now it's like 250. Like we're also burned by Call of Duty that it's like, oh, you made smaller. Okay, good, great, good, fantastic.
Yeah.
Let's talk about news stories here. Ubisoft Massive is making an open world Star Wars game. So,
well, number one, let's talk about the biggest news. Out of all of this Star Wars news and Lucas games getting reinvented as something else and everything else that's going on, let's look on the bright side of life right here. EA no longer holds the exclusivity to Star Wars games.
Right. That's right. We can celebrate something. This is the one that I feel like I'm a little concerned about. There isn't a whole lot of info right now other than Ubisoft Massive open world game. Massive has struggled with the Division 2 throughout its entire life cycle in kind of foundational ways. And the pandemic hasn't really helped. It's made it harder for them to resolve the issues. Yeah, like certainly of no fault of theirs. And I think 2021, we've already seen some stuff slip, like the Harry Potter game, like turfs go to hell. That's just like, yeah, man, see you in 2022. It's like, oh wow, okay, you just slip in the whole year. Okay, we're probably going to see a lot of that this year as we see a lot of that stuff kind of continue to shake out, development wise. But like, I think number one, it's a little bit of a bummer that we won't be seeing Division 3 anytime soon for super obvious reasons. I think I doubt we will see any continued development for Division 2 for super obvious real world reasons. I think not even Ubisoft is dumb enough to say like, all right, yeah, like let's keep the Division going. It's like, no, we're gonna taking a break on that one for a little bit. But this is kind of one of those ones where it's like, Ubisoft Massive has struggled with both Division titles for like foundational reasons. I'm a little worried about them kind of taking on another big game.
Well, we just need another loser shooter based in the Star Wars universe, and we'll be solved.
I'm so tired of looter games.
Yeah, I'm like, as someone who loves the genre, kind of tired of it a little bit.
What you don't know, Boston, is that Destiny 2 is actually a Star Wars game. The Traveler is just the Death Star that's been taken over by the Force and using itself to protect everybody from the dark forces of the Sith. And the Guardians are just Force-sensitive people who are embracing the Force in new powers.
If you wanna largely lift the excellent gunplay in Destiny 2 and put that in a Star Wars game, I will happily play that Star Wars game.
You know what? Destiny 2 hasn't gotten to that point yet, unless, correct me if I'm wrong, have they mentioned anything about forerunners, progenitors, or anything like that yet?
Is that Halo crap?
That's every
It's
sci-fi
everything
shooting game.
Okay.
Yeah.
If the Forerunners was Halo,
Halo,
I'm pretty sure
Mass
the Progenitors
Effect,
was Mass Effect.
Yeah. Not really. Yeah.
Give it time.
Yeah, like we still got an expansion every year at this point, so yeah, maybe there's plenty of time. I don't know. This one's weird. I hope it. I never want any game to be bad, so I'm not bringing it up here on the show to be like, oh, look at this. You know, like just. I hope that it's good. I hope it kind of gives them the resources that they haven't had in developing the Division 1 and 2, because it seems like a lot of their issues continue to be like, hey, Papa Ubisoft, can we have a little bit of money? And Yves Guillemot is over there like, who's that talking? Is that just the wind? Like, who's it? Ubisoft Massive? We don't, that's not one of ours. And they're like, oh, okay, I'll go back to fighting for scraps. See you.
So, are we hoping this is a Jedi game, or are we hoping this is a non-Jedi game? Because I hope it's a non-Jedi game.
Yeah, I feel like anytime it's a Jedi game, it turns into like an open world Metroidvania in like the thinnest of ways, where it's like, now you have force push. Oh my god, you could push this boulder out of the way and get into this cave that has useless loot in it. Like, I kind of want it to be... I don't want it to be like Star Wars GTA, but I don't want it to be what you would expect out of like an open world Star Wars game. So I think I'm agreeing with you. That's like, yeah, like don't make it like at the beginning you're just a young Padawan and you're learning how to. It's like I already don't want to do that.
And my favorite one was Kotor, because they put the ultimate like dip on that, because it's like, yeah, you don't get lightsabers, you just get vibra swords, which are just swords that are made out of really sharp metal, and then next thing you know, like 20 hours in, it's like, nope, you're a Jedi.
Yeah, build your lightsaber. Yeah, like that at least was very fun, where like you're playing for long enough, you're like, I think I might not be a Jedi, and then eventually you're like, yeah, you can be a Jedi, but like you gotta do a lot of work before that first. It's like, all right, like cool, you don't just start with like a level 1 lightsaber in your inventory.
My only hope for this game is that they just stick with Legacy or Expanded Universe. Like, I don't need, whatever this turns out to be, I don't need to see another Death Star. Yeah. I don't need to be in A New Hope again or any of the original 3. Just do something different. Yeah. There's literally all of this other stuff you can choose, and everyone keeps going back to the same exact time period in the same exact spots.
Disney is pushing a lot of the end of the original trilogy to new trilogy stuff. Like The Mandalorian sits in that time slot right there between the end of the OG and the new one. And I know they're doing the Old Republic show going way back when. Yeah. So set it in one of those two time periods and I'll be fine.
Yeah. It's like you can do it in the same timeline, but do it someplace that hasn't already been talked about. Right. Like I don't need to go to Dagobah again to go do whatever. It's like we've all been there. We've all done it.
I don't want to have a phone call with General Organa. It's just like, no, stop.
Yeah. So let's face it, they say massive open world game, so it's not going to have multiple planets. Open world generally means
hopefully not. Yeah,
one place. So basically, they've got Coruscant and Coruscant, right?
Yeah, like, and that's yeah. I just like you can create hundreds of new planets in Star Wars. Like you can create whatever you want.
Yeah, you could literally do anything you can think of and just say that's in Star Wars now.
Right, it's in space, the vast, endless space. Oh, we found a new planet. Ah, cool. Let's go there and do stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Guess what? We have a Star Wars farm simulator.
Oh man, Hold the phone. Now we're talking.
Do you mean a moisture farmer simulation? Because I'll be down for that.
No. That's DLC.
Get a concerned ape on the job. Let's make this. Oh, God. Next news story here. It is. Let's not get too political here. It's fun to punch Nazis, and Machine Games continues to do their fine work in punching Nazis, and they now have the license for an Indiana Jones game. So Machine Games making the most recent Wolfenstein games.
Yes. Also,
Yes.
Machine Games no longer limited to punching Nazis and punching Nazis in VR, but also whipping Nazis.
That's yes. Most importantly, using other weapons than just your fists. So they released a pretty good trailer that if you watch it without knowing what it is, it's like, yeah, it's like books and relics and oh my god, the whip. Like it's one of those good trailers where it's like, all right, yeah, cool. All right, sure.
I keep catching snippets of it in like my social media timelines, and I always just think it's the Lara Croft intro.
Right.
I never get to the point where I see the whip. Oh,
Right.
I always see everything else, and it's like, okay, new Lara Croft game. Okay.
Well, because like most people will post like the trailer and then it'll just be all caps. Oh my god, and it's just like, oh, okay, cool. This is probably a cool thing then. And then you get to the end, and you're like, oh yes, you're right, 100%. Good call.
I don't know. I've already seen plenty of people who are like, yeah, this Indiana Jones thing is ripping off Tomb Raider or
Uncharted is my favorite.
Yeah, and it's like, guys, those games are based off of Indiana Jones.
Right. Like, I hope you put a /S after that. If not, I don't know 100% for sure, but please say psych.
Can we just bring that to everybody's attention, please? Because that's something that not many people know.
Right.
The whole /S thing, or open bracket S close brackets. /S is more internety, but the open brackets with the S inside at the end of a sentence is old subtitle code for sarcasm.
Yeah, they're saying like, oh, so what? You're just ripping off Tomb Raider now? /S is in that tone of voice instead of being like, oh, so you're just ripping off Tomb Raider now? Like, what the hell?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a good indicator for people who are hard of hearing that it's deliberately sarcastic. It's not actually people being serious. So if you see /S, take a breath.
Yeah, without having to go through all the trouble of having to do like the alternate uppercase and lowercase to say like, oh, so this is just a ripoff of yeah. So yeah, there's new Indiana Jones game coming.
So, I mean, this is the thing is like, I haven't played Youngblood because I've heard questionable things about it.
Yeah, I haven't gotten around to it.
I really enjoyed New Order, Old Blood. I enjoyed New Colossus. If they can take this and do those kind of games with it, I mean, look at what they did with BJ Blazkowicz. Very similar to what the guys did over Doom. Like, took a faceless character and made a story that was incredible.
Right.
Or, not a faceless, but, a pixelated face.
Yeah.
I'm curious of what they're going to do with Indiana Jones. And I cannot wait for insert name of famous voice actor here. Nolan North, Steve Bloom, whatever.
Hopefully not Troy Baker.
Who knows? What, you mean Troy Baker of Nathan Drake fame?
No, Troy Baker of I'm too defensive on the internet and getting weird about it fame.
Oh, okay. Who did do Nathan?
That was
that Nolan North, wasn't it?
That was Nolan
North. It was, but
yeah.
So yeah, wait for them to come and start doing their best Harrison Ford impression.
Hey, crazy get. What if they just got Harrison Ford?
My favorite thing about Harrison Ford lately is like people asking him like, "Hey man, how do you feel about like Star Wars? Like Star Wars Episode 9?" He's just like, "I don't care." And like as soon as you throw a big enough check his way, he's like, "I sort of care a little bit. All right, I could be in your movie for 20 minutes."
No, he only cares enough if you throw a big check at him and you let him die. That's the important thing that he cares about.
Is someone going to kill me?
He's already signed up for the new indie film, and you know full well he's dying in that movie.
And like he'll show up on set for maximum of 2 days and die in the first 5 minutes of the movie. And like if he can do it laying down, he'll be even happier.
Yeah, I mean, look at.
I appreciate it.
I like The Force Awakens. I think The Force Awakens is a fantastic movie. Like it or hate it, whatever. That's completely.
Is that episode 8?
Yes.
Okay, that's a good movie. Yes.
4, 5, 6. No, it's 7. I like 7.
Also a good movie. Yes.
But Harrison Ford is literally in that movie for like 20 minutes. It feels like,
Mhm.
and that's the one. Spoiler alert for a movie that came out 4 years ago. That's the one where he dies.
He just
Yeah.
like grumbles through it and leaves. Like, yeah, oh, that's right. Because someone asked him like, "Hey, do you think you're gonna come back?" It's like, I don't care. Don't care. It's like, yeah, man. Dope. Also, thank you, Creative Cloud, for letting me know I have 7 app updates available right now. Appreciate it. 2 thumbs up.
Mm-hmm.
Enjoy that on
That
the video
also-
version.
That also explains why you went robot for a second there.
Great. Also appreciate it letting me know while I'm using one of your products, which means I am busy producing something. That's what.
Mm-hmm.
God, I swear to. Anyways, let's move on to questions here. Poke Chop Salad asks a question: what is the go-to breakfast item if there is a time to make only me a breakfast situation? My personal favorite is birds in a nest, toad in a hole, or whatever you call it. Toast with holes cut in it so you can make a gooey, sunny side up egg in the toast.
A nice big bowl of cereal. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't even tell you the last time I had cereal though. I usually just have breakfast bars.
Mm-hmm. Like, don't
Yeah,
get me wrong. If I'm feeling a little bit sexy, a little bit splashy, I'm gonna make myself some waffles.
Sure.
Hey,
I
I got super healthy and creative and went out and bought sausage, eggs, cheese, and fruit and bagels, and we had bagel, egg, and cheese sausage sandwiches
Nice.
with grapes to go with it.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like 9 times out of 10 when I'm having breakfast, I'm just having like a bagel with cream cheese on it because I woke up, I'm hungry, I have like a child already bothering me about something she's watching in some show we're watching together about animated cats, more than likely. I just need to get some food in my body before I pass out. So like,
Yep.
it's usually just I will toast this bagel, I have some delicious cream cheese, and that will get me through until lunch.
Or like my kids, where they walk into the kitchen, they're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" It's like, "I'm just making a sandwich real quick." It's like, "Well, we haven't eaten anything all day." It's like, "There's bread, cheese, and meat right here in the fridge. Make yourself some food. I got most of the
still
stuff
on the
out
counter.
right now." Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite is, my kid is 4. My favorite is like, I'm standing at the stove cooking something, and she's like in the doorway because she knows not to come in the kitchen when I'm using the stove. She goes, "I'm so hungry," and I was like, "I'm literally making you food right now that I can't eat." So
Mhm.
like, I'm stirring pasta, like I'm making you mac and cheese, like just 4-year-olds, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's good. It's good times.
Honestly, like, I'm not a huge food person. Like, I can barely remember the different names for things. Like, you can tell me a type of Mexican food right now, like even one that Taco Bell sells.
Mhm.
You can name it one of them, and unless it's the Crunch Wrap, I have no idea what it is.
Or like
Is
an
it-
obvious thing, like a burrito or a taco. Like those
Yeah.
are just
No, literally, I don't know the difference between them because I don't remember names.
between a burrito and a taco.
Yes, I
Okay.
don't remember names.
Or
Like,
a griller or a sizzler.
Oh
Yeah.
God, yeah. Like I don't. You
no,
got me.
like I can say, okay, I really like the one that's fully enclosed with bread and it's got loads of beans in it. I
Mhm.
really like that one, but then I also like the open ones that have got the mixture of everything, but they kind of fall apart and they're hard to handle. And I also like the flat, squishy cheese and chicken things. It's like, I don't know the names for things. I just
So-
don't.
In order: burrito, taco, quesadilla.
Okay, see, I'll forget that in 10 minutes flat.
Right. And also, like,
the best thing,
I'm not gonna make fun of you because number one, the hard part about you having lived in both Britain and the US is like, even in this question, he's like, birds in a nest, toad in a hole, whatever. It's like across both countries, the same dish is gonna have like 10 different names.
There's not
Yeah.
burritos in the UK.
there is, but I'm pretty sure they are also actually called burritos, but I don't know is the problem because the big thing for me is like my hard drive in my head is full of so much information. To reference the Stephen King classic Dreamcatcher, my warehouse of memories is full. Like
Mhm.
it's just full. Like, and it feels like that is shrinking. That place is shrinking every single day,
Right.
and it's at the point where, and I've always kind of been this way, but food is the thing I put in myself so I can move. That's
It's
all I
fuel.
ever view food as.
Yeah.
Like it's the thing I put in here to make me do the Go-Gos,
Right.
and that's it. I'm like, I can't tell the difference between wines. I hate beer because they all taste the same to me. I don't have a very good palate for different flavor profiles and things.
Mhm.
Oh, that's sweet, that's sour, that's salty, that's hot.
Right.
That's literally the 4 taste profiles that I have.
Right.
And it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, so breakfast for myself, to reference the question itself, is I need something that's quick, easy. I put it in here and I get the Go-Gos. That's all I
Mhm.
need. So for me,
Right.
that's cereal because I can get Lucky Charms and they're delicious because I have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
And that's it. It takes so much mental effort for me to actually cook anything
Mhm.
because I've always only ever really, until I got married and meals for 2 and so on and so forth. But anytime I was by myself, it was just like, no, give me the quickest, cheapest, kind of healthiest option to just get me through the
Healthy-ish.
day.
Heck yeah. Ramen with an egg on top of it.
Oh,
Oh,
well, I mean, if
100%.
you're fancy, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like ramen with an egg on top, and then throw in a little bit of HP fruity sauce.
Mhm. Yeah, it always makes people so angry when you're like, well, like I don't really enjoy cooking, and like I'm not like food is fine, but it's not like my thing. I'm like not a foodie, and they're like, but have you ever had? And it's like, just no, just I do not
Yeah.
care that
Stop that
much.
sentence. The answer is no.
Yeah, like
Like-
I don't. It's like people that are like, I've always said like I don't enjoy beer that much. Like I have some beers I like and I'll drink. I don't drink that much anymore anyway. But like I've always been like, I just don't like beer that much. Like I don't like being drunk that much. I don't like the taste that much. And they're like, oh, well, have you had? It's like you're not going to sell me. Like I'm not going to be like
Mhm.
suddenly I have this Hefeweizen and you're like, oh my god, my eyes have my beer third eye has been opened. My god, I love them. And now I love all of them. It's like no,
It's like, are we talking
No.
about the blue bottle that tastes like pee or the brown bottle that tastes like pee?
Yes.
No, the green one.
100%. Like, I'm sorry, but for me, if you want me to go out drinking, I am going to order a quote-unquote frou-frou cocktail, and I'm going to love it because
Oh, me
I
too.
will barely taste the alcohol, and it's a sweet, sugary drink.
If
That's
it tastes
all I
like
need.
pineapple and gets me drunk, oh man, I'm in.
Mhm. Dude, I spent my college years being a Smirnoff Ice kind of guy.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
Nim's
they've
holding up
pulled
a bunch of
literally
tiny
flavors.
liquor bottles.
Yeah, I got a bunch of Jim Beam things for Christmas, the little travel ones, and that's what
Yeah.
I've been drinking on this episode, which none of
Yeah,
you
the
can tell
old
because
fashioned.
I'm an expensive drunk. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh man. Like, and the thing is, like, the nice part about living here in San Diego is we have a ton of Mexican food around us for very obvious reasons, and Mexican breakfast foods are really great. So like
Yes.
oftentimes I will get a breakfast that's essentially just eggs and chorizo together. So it's essentially like scrambled egg chorizo, and it's delicious. And it's
Yeah.
just it's like the least complicated breakfast you can have, and it's really great.
We have here in Michigan, on this side of the state, we have a lot of Mexican people as well. A lot of them come from Mexico to Texas and from Texas to Michigan. I don't know why. That just seems to be how a lot of people traveled
Right.
here. But yeah, we have.
Because it's the softer steps. It's you
I
leave in
guess.
Texas, you go into Michigan. Next after that is California or New York.
Yeah.
Right.
But we have a ton of Mexican restaurants here, and a lot of them are family-owned, smaller restaurants, and they've got
those are the best.
all kinds of awesome stuff, and I
Yeah.
love going to those places. But then you go over to like the east side of the state, like Detroit, tons of Indian food.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've only recently started getting some Indian restaurants over here in Middle Eastern restaurants in the
Mhm.
next town over, and I love those places. There's one or two things that I found that I absolutely do not like. It's just
Sure.
not in my palate, but everything else is fantastic, and we
Yeah.
need more of those restaurants.
Yeah, we don't have a ton of Indian food here either, which is a bummer because a lot of that is really great.
Go to the UK. It's
Yes. Yep.
a huge Indian food country, and
Yep.
There is nary a town in the UK where you can't get a curry at 3 o'clock in the morning after a night out.
The dream, man.
We've got one Indian shop in probably about 100 miles of us that we go to pick up certain ingredients and stuff like that you can't find in stores.
Yeah,
and it's just this little hole in the wall building that if you drove by it, you wouldn't even know that's what it was.
Oh, those are the good places. Yeah.
What's the show about again?
It's Foodcast. Welcome back to patreon.com/eWNM.
I'm not gonna lie, I thought about 7-layer dip earlier this weekend, and that almost became a thing for me. Dude, I don't know. Somebody brought it up in a question like a couple of weeks ago. It randomly popped into my mind, and I wanted to make it a reality.
I'm guessing that 7-layer dip is exactly what it says on the tin.
Yeah, it's 7 layers of different things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's usually like cheese, refried beans, sour cream. Like it's usually pretty good.
It's the lasagna of dips.
The whole UK versus American food thing actually literally came up last week in the Patreon content. Almond paste, marzipan. Same thing.
Yep.
I still stand by it. Get yourself some marzipan.
Yeah. Get yourself some. Yeah. All right, now that we're done covering our monthly foodcast, thank you very much, everyone, for listening. And that's the end.
Suitably hungry.
yes. Now I'm suitably
Episode 1
hungry.
TVGP FC.
Yeah, that's right. TVGP.tv is where you can visit us, find and follow us everywhere on the right-hand side of the page. Patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. Already talked about all the stuff you'll get at the top of the episode. If you're a patron, you help me out a ton by helping me pay for the show. If you want to know where all the money goes to, all that stuff is on the Patreon page itself. And get us to the $250 tier so I can start playing some scary games at night after everyone in the house has gone to bed and scare myself stupid. Name for that is forthcoming. Probably not scare yourself stupid. But who knows?
Stupid yourself scared?
There you go. Perfect. Stupid myself stupid.
We need to come up with a pun name involving Boston.
Yeah, we'll think about it. We'll think about it as you guys get us to $250 a month tier. You're getting there. Tell your friends.
Maybe we can come up with titles and have the Patreon supporters vote on those titles.
There you go.
That's a good idea.
I like it. So that's patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. We finished up the most recent Game Club game, Metro 2033 Redux. That episode should be in the feed right now if you're listening to the audio version. The next game is going to be Late Shift, which is a very short and highly replayable FMV title. By very short, I think we were talking like 45 to 90 minute playthroughs at a max. So if you wanted something cool and different to play, that's the best part about Game Club. We're always going to be playing either old classics or kind of like, let's try it, whatever. So go check that out. And if you haven't been listening to Critical Misses is going really great. Moon and I are having a lot of fun with it. There's a whole bunch of stuff on, I think season 1 just wrapped up on the public feed, so season 2 is underway. I think season 4 is just about to start on the patron feed, so go sign up there for that. It's going really well, and we're having a lot of fun with it. It's a great time, I think, for everyone. Everyone seems to be enjoying it. And yep. I think that's it. So we'll see you next week. Bye.
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 So Boston?
Yes.
There is a roller derby team from Boston called the Harbor Horrors.
That's pretty good. I like it. All right, Nymph, hit me with your titles.
All right. I have Interior Assassination.
It sounds like a medical term.
It does.
Shiny Hunting.
And Episode 1 TVGP FC.
Okay. Moon, what do you have?
Bare Minimum. Tip Not Tippy. I Was Tired. You Should Be Dead, Non-Jedi Game, Moisture Farmer Simulator, and Give Me the Go-Gos.
You Should Be Dead. All right, I have Open the Door and Look Around. An alternate one for yours, Moon, is I Get the Go-Gos. Interior Assassination, Tip Not Tippy, and You Should Be Dead. I like one of the Go-Go titles, whichever one we choose, if it's the winner, or Interior Assassination.
I really like Moisture Farmer Simulation. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll write it down.
What's your Go-Gos one?
I Get the Go-Gos. What was yours?
That one's better than Give Me the Go-Gos, I think.
Yeah, I Get the Go-Gos a little bit. As a title, I think it's a little bit snappier.
Mm-hmm.
Interior Assassination is just kind of a really fun pair of words to say.
I like both. Either one of the Go-Gos and the Interior Assassination. And I got something for each one.
Look at that.
I know, right?
Prepared.
Still tightening them straps.
That's right. Carrying the show along. Boy, I don't know if I feel that strongly. I feel like I Get the Go-Gos like a little bit. They're both so fun to say, which is why I am kind of struggling. I feel like I Get the Go-Gos is like a smidge, like 1%. I click with it like 1% more than the other one.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's do that one then.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
Sure, whatever.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 691 for January 18th, 2021. I Get the Go-Gos.
Like a dog chasing cars.
Grab your boots and strap in. We're going for a ride.
All right, thank you very much, everyone, hanging out with us live.
Go-Go boots were a thing here in the United States, man.
That's right.
Yes, I know what Go-Go boots are.
I know.
There's like legitimately famous British like stage show about it.
Yeah, I know.
Kinky boots. There you go.
Ah, yes. Yes.
My favorite thing is just to give you crap about things that not only do you not care about, but things that you also already know about.
That's right. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening, watching, and we'll see you next week. Bye.